I was actually not interested in the Army or the military service, did not know much about Army ROTC. And one week, I passed an information booth in the very beginning of my freshman year. I picked up an ROTC pamphlet at the Altoona campus of Penn State University. Said, hey, I'll give it a shot. So I gave it a shot just for some extracurricular stuff. To fast forward over time, I ended up liking it. It was in the advanced camp, now called Cadet Summer Training. And going through the training then, it went well. Land navigation, leadership stuff, the whole bit. And I decided, I think I'm going to give this a shot and commit to it. So I did. Planned on doing 4 years and get out after being commissioned. But 4 years turned into 38 in a couple months. Every pay grade, every opportunity, every challenge that became an opportunity, I can broadly say, enjoyed what I was doing, enjoyed putting on the boots, enjoyed being a leader with great soldiers of all ranks, all backgrounds, and then very blessed to have served and finished at the general officer level.
Hi, my guest today is General Gary M. Brito, recently retired U.S. Army 4-star general, former commander of U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command TRADOC, where he oversaw institutional training and leader development for approximately 1 million soldiers and managed an annual operating budget of about $4 billion. Welcome to the show, sir, and I'm very glad to have you on today.
Hey, thanks, Danny. My honor to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with your story. What was the moment when you knew that the Army was your path and you wanted to pursue this as a long-term career?
I was actually not interested in the Army or the military service, did not know much about Army ROTC. And one week, I passed an information booth, my actually I was on terms back then. So in the very beginning of my freshman year, I picked up an ROTC pamphlet at the Altoona campus of Penn State University. Said, hey, I'll give it a shot. So I gave it a shot just for some extracurricular stuff. To fast forward over time, I ended up liking it. I think the moment, Danny, and I would mention I was not committed, not contracted, not a scholarship cadet at the time. We never became one on scholarship. But to get to your question, it was in what is now then called the advanced camp, now called Cadet Summer Training. And I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the company. And going through the training then, it went well. Land navigation, leadership stuff, the whole bit. And I decided, I think I'm going to give this a shot and commit to it. So I did. Planned on doing 4 years and get out after being commissioned, joined infantry force. 4 years turned into 38 in a couple months. Every pay grade, every opportunity, every challenge that became an opportunity, they all kind of centered on the same thing. And that was inspired in being part of the team of leaders that work with soldiers and continue to see them progress. I would say if I picked a timeline at around the 10-year point, well, gee, might as well stay in and do 20 now and continue to do that. So really hard to say this is the event, this is the pay grade. I can broadly say enjoyed what I was doing, enjoyed putting on the boots, enjoyed being a leader with great soldiers of all ranks, all backgrounds, everything. And then very blessed to have served and finished at the general officer level.
Has anyone in your family served in the past? Were you inspired by any of your family members, or were you the first person to join the military?
Definitely not the first. Like many probably of my age, I had a grandfather, several uncles who served in World War II. That level of dedication and patriotism, I'll use that word deliberately, patriotism did inspire me. And they all served either a year or 18 months. None made a career out of it. But every last one of my grandfather's comes to mind more importantly, was very clear that it was our duty as Americans back then to serve, and did it with pride. You could see that pride in the American Legion uniforms and the VFW hats and all that stuff in the years as post World War II service. Had a couple cousins that either served active duty or in the reserve throughout their career, throughout their years, but just a one and done assignment, one and done enlistment. So that level of, if you're going to do it right, did resonate from the relatives who did serve. I had a stepfather, passed away now, was in the Navy, and a little bit of inspiration from that as well on the work ethic and the teamwork that can come with serving. So, but to the level of how many years, I'm it so far. And I do have a son serving now.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, you didn't plan to stay as long as you have, but have you ever thought that you can become a 4-star general or even a general officer at all when you were progressing through the ranks and kind of working your way up?
No, as a captain, somebody asked me that, and So, well, if it happens, it happens. I think that was the exact answer. So it wasn't a goal really, period. Throughout, as I mentioned, I was going to do 4 years and continue to just do well, do your job. So I can't say there was an objective. And I would actually argue if that is your objective, you may not serve those that you've been privileged to lead the best that you can. As the years went on, I'm a lieutenant colonel or colonel. Maybe it's possible, but I know making that a possibility was not something that I would control. Just do your job, do it well, drive change, and somebody else managing that destiny. I definitely know that now. Being having been a general for a while. It's a long answer for not really, but if it happens, it happens, and be ready for it, and realize that it's definitely a path of development and opportunities that get you there. And then once you make the brigadier general rank, a different path, but you still continue to serve soldiers and army civilians.
Talking about leadership, you probably developed your own style. So did it evolve, let's say, from the time when you were a captain to now, maybe some fundamental change, or maybe it was like a natural progression, natural evolution of leadership style?
Fundamental change, no, Danny. Natural maturing and evolution, yes. There's some core principles, core character traits that I think we all have. Work ethic to me was important. Honesty and integrity to me was important. Being a good person with strong character was important. Being approachable was important. And that continued throughout all ranks from captain to the most recent one, although I've been retired about just over 60 days now. And quite frankly, in the next phase, whatever it may be, those traits are still very important. Now they change how you implement them and how you apply them. It does have to change. There's a platoon of 35 people or an organization of 40,000 people. How you apply it, how you work through your subordinates and your staff does have to change. I will share one thing, Danny, which personally I learned very early as a second lieutenant, and I didn't know how much it meant then, but use it as a guidepost and azimuth all the way through the Army. And that was just this will sound very cliche and corny probably. The soldier, the centerpiece, and always take care of the soldier, not your evaluation. Everything is going to work out. And just have to expand that and apply it to the problem, the environment that you're with, whether it's working in the Pentagon or down in Fort Eustis, Virginia. And that helped guide personally myself to do the right thing in making your decisions. You won't always be everybody's fan, everybody won't be a friend of you in making some decisions, but making decisions, making the right decisions, and the type of guidance that you put out. Probably a long-winded answer to say, yes, it evolves over time, and so do we. Leaders change over time. Your priorities change. Or you learn more. Or you learn from mistakes. You learn from successes. And all of that needs to be packaged into this being a leader, hopefully a selfless leader, for those that you're serving and been privileged to serve and take care of those troops.
Great. Thank you for sharing this. And talking about mentorship and the idea of mentorship, could you share what mentors who has had the most influence on you, and based on your experience, how to build the relationship between the mentor and the mentee so that the most amount of value is exchanged and the person is growing and it helps both people in a way?
There's definitely something I think is in the rucksack of every leader at every single rank to either make themselves accessible to for those who may want to reach out to you for some mentorship or just simply leadership or discussion, and yet create venues. I'm going to give a couple of examples when you are just mentoring and folks might not even know it. I'm not going to mention any direct names, but I will say, and I can. But there's been officers of certain ranks, been non-commissioned officers of certain ranks. When I worked for at the Joint Readiness Training Center, then the Force Combat Commander Bob Abrams, just his leadership style um, was something that I picked up on a lot. Whether directly or the direct mentorship or not was a form of mentorship. My first platoon sergeant, a guy named Pete Adams, we still keep keep in touch today. He's came to my 4-star promotion and retired. His model was a form of mentorship. And we talked and walked in the woods every now and then, and that was a form of mentorship to me. So true leadership development. I would offer and would share this with both those in uniform, those that may be wearing suits and ties, to create a setting where you can help develop those leaders in your formation or in your C-suite or something. It could be working lunches where you're just talking to each other about things. Hey, what's going on today? Have you thought about this path? How are you dealing with this problem? Here are things. Could be a professional leadership development forum. Could be a podcast like this where many are on the net. Hollywood Squares talking to each other, but it's worth the investment. And what I've learned in the latter years, the importance of how you ask the question, how you deliver, and then how you listen. Captain Smith may be dealing with something that it's not the first, everybody's dealt with it before, but how's it weighing on him or her? And listen, then address it. And the true exchange of mentorship and leadership would probably work best that way. And don't look at it as a burden. It's not. It is really an opportunity and a gift that you're giving back to somebody. And even now, a post uniform, matter of fact, I got one this morning, an officer who's in battalion command. We've not met before, wants to talk about, hey, sir, how did you deal with at this rank? And we're going to talk shortly, probably today. So make yourself accessible. Often those seeds you plant turns into a big old garden. You might not even know it.
What's your personal experience out of the uniform? Is it challenging? Is it different? Is it psychologically difficult to adapt? Or what's your experience so far?
Yes, yes, and yes on those three things you just mentioned for me personally, but not bad. It is a deliberate transition. Your environment, responsibility, why, your purpose does change the minute you give up the uniform. And our great military is going to keep moving on and no regrets at all. So that was an aspect, and just the pace and the battle rhythm. A peer of mine used the term, you've been used to being on the stage all the time, and then now you're not. And in my personal case, as with others, I came out of command to retirement. So you're on a big stage every day, 24/7, then the next morning you're not. So you have to deal with that and then have a transition plan. The good thing is had some time to go to family events that probably wouldn't have before, went to graduation and stuff. So that was good. So do have a transition plan. Definitely take care of things that if you don't do it, they'll just fall to the wayside, like your veteran, your VA, medical. Very important to do that. Logically, I had my lovely wife with me for these 38 plus years, and she's still you for 38 plus years. So looking forward to that phase as well. But do realize there is a next chapter, and it can be very fruitful for you. The same leadership opportunities that I had in uniform, I will share and want to leverage those as well in this next journey. But it may be just with a suit and tie versus OCPs or AGSUs. Yes, it's a transition. It's going to happen. Be used to it. There will be some emotions involved with it. But it does work, and have a plan, and you're not alone. There's a lot of support systems out there, either peers, friends, or those who have been through it before. Many soldiers, field grade officers, non-commissioned officers, general officers have an opportunity to speak with in these days or so. But it does happen, and you definitely do need to have a plan. I would give that. Danny, lastly, what I deliberately did not do was a ton of external networking while in uniform. Not to say that it works for everybody because of as you're probably aware, the transition of training a doctor command to support some major transformation initiatives, put 110% into the very last day before the command was inactivated. And that was important. And then began the transition.
And speaking of how to translate those military skills into this new role of working in corporate America, leadership out of the uniform, I like how you in your LinkedIn bio you say that you were the CEO of TradeOut. So basically, it's almost a one-to-one correspondence between leading in the military and then leading in civilian sector. But in your experience, and obviously you just recently transitioned and you're still learning about it, but how much is it different between the military and the civilian sector? What is different? And what is basically the same, and you can go out there, put on a suit, and start working, basically doing the same things as you did in the military.
Some principles that apply still to whatever sector you're in. Leader of character, for one, the value of time management, strong work ethic, and then organizational leadership, depending upon the size of the organization that you're in, and a positive command climate or positive climate work environment that makes that work. And that's all very, very important. I started to learn in the last year, 2 or 3, in uniform, which I do think applies to the civilian sector as well. The human, the people are still very important, just even balanced with the technologies and technology we have. All that needs to be considered still. And don't forget about the human in the loop, and then senior leaders, C-suite leaders, leaders of any form or fashion need to manage that. And I do think that will apply in transition as importantly as it did in the military to organizations out there as well. Definitely we'll see it in time, but in talking to folks lately, whether it's on LinkedIn or other Zoom issues, that is all important with the levels of organization. And then basic leadership, I wouldn't say there's such a thing as a basic leadership skill or time life or work-life balance, work-life prioritization as important. Differences I've seen, I mean, the military is formed, especially the Army, to fight and win the nation wars. The priorities and objectives may be different for some civilian organizations, but yet have a strategy and a plan to get you there. The senior leader, again, whether we're in a suit and tie or AGSUs and OCPs, has a responsibility to get us there, get the organization there.
What did you learn as a 4-star general specifically that you might have not learned if you were retired, let's say as a 3-star or a 2-star? Maybe some specific skills that or challenges that you faced specifically as a 4-star that you can share?
I am always 100% guilty, and I like this label. I wear rose-colored glasses every day. So, and I offer that, Danny, in that every challenge is an opportunity to make your organization better. So, and that's our response. When I say a senior leader's responsibility, make that challenge an opportunity to make your organization better and drive change. So specifically, you should have the 4-star level more than any other, say, pay-graded job was often faced with the challenges of driving change at a grand scale, strategic scale for that organization in the Army. And it was an opportunity. I mentioned the merger up front to support the well thought through transformation initiatives of the Army. And that cannot be done sitting in your own seat. You are driving change and leading a team that helps you to get there. And not to say that 1, 2, and 3-star definitely have its challenges for sure, or opportunities, but it's at a bigger scale at the 4-star level. And probably any one of my peers would tell you the same thing, maybe different descriptors, but that's your mission. May not see the payoffs of that 3, 4, 5 years from now. And Mr. Brito, General Retired, will be able to see that, but you're contributing to it at this point. Thanks.
Maybe you can look back at your own life back when you were thinking about the Army, joining for 4 years, or looking at young people today. Maybe something that you want to share with them, some advice or anything on your mind.
No, certainly. And one thing I really, really loved about my last opportunity in the military, the training object I had, was you got to see young soldiers and young leaders come in nervous, adopting and adapting and owning. I enjoyed every single day going to visit some training or something to see that. With a lieutenant that you may have met years ago, getting promoted to captain and major now. Had an opportunity with some young privates I had, making master sergeant, sergeant majors throughout the career. So seeing that just inspires the crap out of you every single day. What I to offer guidance to young men and women that are thinking of joining is yes, join. Not to be cliche or corny. It's a great way to start, but it is. You'll be serving a purpose bigger than yourself. You have an opportunity across the hundreds of occupational specialties and opportunities to learn something and contribute and make yourself better. And if one enlistment is what you want to do it. To continue along the successive path. A character is important. We're a profession defined by the Army, a profession defined by values, ethics. You've taken an oath, similar to many other professions as well. And if you're going to do it right and do it hard. Do it all the way and be professional about it and respect each other. So I would offer that as a package. And as with many of my peers and mothers who have retired as well, to see folks go along that path and just continue to excel, you can't get any more inspired and saw it from trainees, how happy they were continuing basic training or OSIT, same with the lieutenants, and then seeing them later on in life like, hey, I just got promoted or I didn't. And I did my 4 years and I want to get out. You've contributed great to the Army, and I'll go do the same as a civilian. So no regrets.
Thank you for sharing this. And before we end, I want to use these couple of minutes that we have left for you to share a final message. It could be something that we've discussed. Maybe you want to emphasize something about leadership or your story or mentorship or anything else, or it could be something that we haven't had a chance to talk about, and you wanted to share that message. Please go ahead and use this time.
Yeah, Danny, definitely not about my story. I do feel very blessed and fortunate to have been a leader and finished as a senior leader. So take for those serving in any service or for those that in a leadership position in the civilian sector, will be one. Take it seriously, but not taking yourself too seriously. I do want to elaborate on that. You're the leader to ensure those that you are charged with, whether it's 35,000, whether it's profit based or not, your selfless leadership will continue to advance that ball. So take that seriously. Take care of your people, just like you would your own family. Manage profits if you have to. Drive positive change, but also have the spine to deal with crises, deal with things that just leaders have to take on as responsibilities. Again, to make the organization, the people, the team better. It's not always going to be a great day, but your attitude can make it end up a great day and the way you approach it. And lastly, a lesson that continues to be learned is the value of a work-life prioritization. There's moments that senior leadership responsibilities can be very demanding, and hard to balance. Take it on deliberately. And at the end of the day, it helps you be the best version of yourself, but helps those in the organization to be the best version of the team. I could probably talk about that for an hour, but I'll close there. And thanks for this opportunity, Danny. And I hope it helps somebody out there that's in a leadership role or just part of a great team that looks up for their leader. Thank you for this time.
Sure, and thank you for sharing all this. This is an incredible advice stories that you shared. I appreciate you coming on the show today, and good luck with your continuing transition and future roles. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Danny. I'll stay in touch with you. And thanks for what you do for this massive audience that you have connection with.